Hello and welcome to another Out of Spec Reviews video. This is going to be a little different because in this video, I am, Kyle, going to take you on a POV, a point of view driving and full vehicle review. Now, don't expect this to become the norm on this channel. This channel, we try and keep the quality a little bit higher. We'll do, typical filmed videos and reviews of vehicles. We try and do daily uploads. However, I have been getting into the point of view driving stuff, so I'll leave a link to two channels that are just point of view coming from our network here on Out of Spec. One of them is called POV Motoring, which is a channel we haven't told anyone about yet, and I expect it to grow very slowly over time. It's where we drive cars in the city, in the mountains, on track, with no talking, no emotions, just here sitting behind the steering wheel, and those may do well over time, maybe not, we'll see. I also have another channel, which is my personal channel, where I get to share my own thoughts on cars that I'm driving. You may have seen Out of Spec Reviews expanding. We're hiring new editors. If you're interested in reviewing cars and you're in Colorado, reach out to us. And that means that I'm not touching every car that we have in for a full review on Out of Spec Reviews. So I try and get into the cars and I do like a 10-minute, here's what I think about them. Anyway, in this video, we're exposing you to the world of point of view driving videos, and we have the 2021 BMW 430i xDrive Coupe. This one's maxed out with all the performance options, but it's the little engine. It's a really interesting combination here of spec. So you have essentially what's a little bit longer than a 3 Series, a little bit wider, a little bit lower down. So it's the more sports coupe version of a 3 Series. This, in prior generations would have been called the 3 Series Coupe. Of course, about almost 10 years ago now, they went with the 4 Series designation. We're all over that one. That was a big deal. And this is an interesting spec because it's the 30i, which means it uses the B46 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine that BMW Group puts in almost everything. But then it has all the sporty stuff. So this is the smallest engine you can get here in the US, but it has the dynamic handling pack, the M Sport pack. So we have these big brakes. We have an active rear diff. It is an xDrive, so it is all-wheel drive. But I had this car out on track yesterday. That's an upcoming video here on this channel, and it was super neat to watch it work around. Now, this is the most controversial part of this car. By the way, the car is painted in Portimao blue metallic. Absolutely gorgeous color. I think it would look great with an oyster color interior. You let me know. But this is the most controversial part of the car right here. And from a styling perspective, this I've lived with for a week now. So this is actually the last day that I have this car, and it's totally grown on me. Not to say that I like it, but to say that it doesn't bother me. Also, interestingly, on the internet, everyone says this is very ugly and they're ruining the brand. But in real life, I've yet to have anyone come up and say, oh, your car is ugly. I mean, people aren't really going to do that. But I've had a lot of people that came up to me just driving this around town that are like, wow, this is such a gorgeous car. I love the way it looks. So take that with what you will. I would say the grill thing is blown out of proportion on the internet. In terms of practicality and things like this, we have a trunk. That's quite large. And the seats fold down with just a pull of this little tab. Right here, you can see it unlatched, and then I can go inside here on the passenger side. Comfort access, keyless entry. I can pull the back of the seat forwards here, reaching in the back, and I can pull that flat down. So that's very convenient. Love it. Everything feels really solid, very nicely built. You can see the seat folds forward and back, or moves forward and back when you lean the backrest in. I think that's quite nice. A little dirty now. Normally I like to clean the cars before we review them. However, we just hadn't had the time, and that's why we're doing a little POV video here. Let's jump in and drive it up one of my favorite roads, and we'll talk about it while we're driving. Now, this style of video that you're watching now is going to be pretty much exclusively on my personal channel. It's just the Kyle Connor YouTube channel. Subscribe if you'd like. If not, no worries. A lot of people, I realize, will not like the point of view experience. It's a little bit weird. Might make people a little bit nauseous. And we're into drive. So 4-cylinder engine started up, and we are heading out onto Wrist Canyon Road, one of my favorites. And here, just cruising in town, we got to take it easy for a little while. So let's talk about what this car has for driver assistance. Well, interestingly, this does not have any driver assistance options except the active driving assistant, which is like not lane centering or anything like that. It's just regular, regular cruise control. We do have a limit, so like speed limits, let's just say 25 here. So I can set a limit on the steering wheel to say, don't go more than 30. My foot's really far down on the pedal right now, and we're not doing more than 30 miles an hour. That's a great feature. Really like that, especially in a car like this that masks the speed like nothing else. Cruising down the highway in a modern BMW is such a serene and comfortable experience that you look down and you're like, holy smokes, I'm really freaking ripping, and you would have no idea. So you really need to utilize this limit feature. Now you can option active lane centering and adaptive cruise control and these types of features, but this particular car does not have those options. What it does have though is lane departure warning. So if you start to hit a line, it pushes you back in. And I think that's sort of a great feature to have on all of the cars. It also has forward collision warning. So if you're about to run into something, you get a big red car on the screen, it says brake, and then it'll slam on the brakes if you don't. So all sounds good there from a tech standpoint. And I like that you can at least option driver assistance. Now, in terms of cruising comfortably, it's interesting because this is the most aggressive 4 Series you can actually spec with this B46 engine. Above this engine, you get the 430i and then the M4 and then the M4 competition. So for being a enthusiast spec, small engine, lightweight, all the performance stuff, it rides very well. Certainly not as cushy as like a normal 4 Series non-M Sport, non-dynamic handling package, but more than livable. This car does have a different driving mode. So right now I'm in Comfort. You can go Eco Pro. An adaptive mode that will adjust the driving mode based on how you're driving, I think is quite nice. And then of course a Sport mode. Let's put it in Sport mode because this is sort of a performance car. If we configure the individual, we can configure our active damping, our steering, our engine, transmission. And the way I actually like this car is with everything in Sport, but with, let me turn off cruise control, there we go. Everything in Sport, but with the steering in Comfort light setting. I think that seems to be the best compromise here. So let's go to Sport individual, locked in. I'm then going to turn traction control one step back to dynamic traction control. And this is just going to allow a little bit of slip. It's just not going to get in my way as much. So cruising down the highway, cabin's really nice. If you're interested in all of the tech, the reason I'm not going into iDrive and all of this is because we've already done this. We just did a super in-depth, almost hour-long review on the 330e plug-in hybrid. I'm in manual mode, by the way, if you hear the revs moving around. And that car is so cool, and it does all this great stuff, and it had all the driver assistance, so that was definitely the car to go in depth on iDrive. So if you just go onto YouTube and search 330e out of spec reviews, you'll see our full review on that car. And that will go through all the tech. Here, what we are trying to find out is this the enthusiast's choice of 4 Series? Because it has the correct small engine in some people's eyes. I mean, our team member Jordan loves this engine. He's like, if I got a 4 Series, I'd get this engine. And we were also doing Supra this week, and he's like, well, I like the 4-cylinder Supra because he loves this B46 engine. And I do too. It's a sweet engine. It revs to the moon. Look at that, almost 7,000 RPM, and it's still making power all the way up top, which is just incredible. Great power and torque. You know, BMWs are always a little bit underrated out of the box. 255 horsepower, 280, 290 pound-feet of torque, something like this. It's more than that. It just pulls so unbelievably well. Do you need any more power? Absolutely not. This thing definitely gets a move on quite well. Now, in terms of the tire that we're on, we are on Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires. Ooh, transit van, nice short wheelbase, high roof, looks good. Big power on the way out of here. Now, I'm not expecting any drifty stuff because we have xDrive. And xDrive is a rear-biased all-wheel drive system, but it is going to not allow for too much oversteer. It will send the power forwards. On track yesterday, I was able to get small little angles with this car, but that's about all I could get. So, looks like the 4Runner doesn't want to pull over for us. That's fine. We'll just follow slowly behind as we talk more about the 4 Series. Sound system, this one has the optional Harman Kardon, very good, but typical BMW where it's just a tight sound system. The bass is quick response, but not that much power, and overall I'd say it's an okay sound system. Certainly competitors in this class, like I would say actually even the Infiniti Q60 with their Bose premium audio has a better sound system. Also compared to competitors in its class, including the Infiniti Q60, this is a little bit overpriced for the power and performance that you get. Again, this one's 60,000, is it? Let's take a look. We're going slow enough. Yeah, 60,520. And for 60 grand in the Infiniti world, you would get a twin turbocharged V6. Here, what you're getting is a beautifully crafted interior, really good driving dynamics, I think. Not so much sheer raw straight line performance, but overall a much more balanced and fun chassis. So I would prefer this over something like that. You also have the Mercedes-Benz C43 AMG or in C300 AMG with their 4-cylinder. And those are pretty good, but something about a BMW, they just get into a corner better than most other things. Well, this isn't the most precise BMW, and I would say, okay, maybe a 3 Series from a couple generations ago would have handled better. You just can't deny how comfortable this car is on the highway cruising along at 80 plus miles an hour, and then you take it up to a back road like this and it can cover serious ground. The thing that impresses me most about BMWs is that no matter how you're driving it, if you're in full sport on and you're ringing it all the way out to the rev limiter like this, or you're just cruising along in driving comfort, they are so well calibrated for however you drive the car. And to me, that is like the true mark of great engineering. While certainly we can nitpick and complain how the steering's really numb and it feels a little bit too eager on initial tip-in of the steering wheel, I think BMW knows how to build a car. Everything is just so calibrated. The engine's never surgy. The transmission is unbelievably well calibrated, the ZF 8-speed here. The turbocharger is quick to respond. When you roll the windows down, you get a ton of turbo noise at light throttle. Let me give you a quick listen to what that sounds like. It's actually really cool. So, window down, boosting it real quick. Hear the blow off? Oh wait, the ML was right there, hold on. It just sounds so cool, and I love that you get all these raw experiences of noise that should be there. Now certainly the car is piping in a little bit of fake noise here, and that's annoying, no question. I would disable that. I actually have owned BMWs and have disabled that. But I would say for your average person, they won't know the difference. Let's go. Getting it out of a corner, mid-range torque, really good. Great balance coming in through here. This is where the 4 Series shines. And if you're interested in more of the performance of this car, we did a full track review, so you're more than welcome to go take a look at that, and that will be coming up here in a future video on Out of Spec Reviews. I just wanted to introduce you to our point of view style videos, my personal opinions being shared with cars on the Kyle Connor YouTube channel, and that's kind of it. The 4 Series is very similar interior and technologically to the 3 Series that we've spent a lot of time with here on this channel. However, I just think if you like a coupe, if you like to have controversial grills on the front of your car, then this might be the car for you. For me personally, I see very little reason to get this over the 3 Series sedan. I think that might be really just one of the most perfect cars, and that's why I would go for a 3 Series over a 4. But look, it's kind of the same car. It's just, do you want coupe or SUV? And I get this a little longer and has a, I don't know, 0.2 millimeter wider rear track than the 3 Series, all that stuff. At the end of the day, this feels a little bit sportier. It looks a little bit sportier. But when you're going down a back road, are you actually going any faster in this than the 3 Series? The answer is not really. So, yep, there you go. Thanks for watching another Out of Spec Reviews video. Do not expect this type of content consistently here on this channel. If we have quick drive opportunities, maybe we'll bring it back here. But for the most part, these types of videos will be on the Kyle Connor YouTube channel. No talking point of view driving, which is just someone on our team driving around very slowly or very quickly with no talking or emotions, will be on POV motoring. And welcome to the world where Out of Spec dives in to POV driving videos And as we join the likes of my friend Tedward, who has an awesome channel, my friend, well, I guess I have a bunch of friends over at Winding Road Magazine, and there's a few others out there as well. I'll link to my favorite POV driving videos here in the description. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.